Channel 4 presents bowling. Yes, it's Bowling with the Champs. Today you'll see two outstanding bowlers from the state of Wisconsin compete in head-to-head match play. We're greeting you from the red carpet Regency Lanes in Milwaukee, where the bowling center of the future is here today. Bowling with the Champs is brought to you in part by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of day. Welcome to Miller Time. And by Foster Pontiac, South 27th and Loomis. Foster challenges anyone to beat their prices, anyone. Bowling with the Champs is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, both headquartered here in the greater Milwaukee area. Good morning once again. I'm Hank Stoddard here at Red Carpet Regency Lanes, and today we continue our men's division action in our 29th consecutive season of Bowling with the Champs. We're in the second round, and so far we've had 6 bowlers advance to the third round of the 83-84 season. Today, a 7th bowler will join those 6, and then, of course, we'll have only one more match, and we'll be down to the quarterfinals in the men's division. The winner of our show, as you're probably aware, is determined each week on the highest total pin score for the 3 games. And, of course, the further you advance, the more money you make from the tournament. But each Sunday, Red Carpet Lanes pays out some additional money, $50 to the bowlers each time they win a game. There's $50 for winning the 3-game series, a $25 consolation prize should one of the bowlers fail to win a game, extra $100 for a 700 series, extra $200 for an 800 series, and a brand new 1984 Pontiac Fiero from Foster Pontiac, if anybody can roll a perfect game on Bowling with the Champs this season. The 84 Pontiac Fiero is a revolutionary new sports car, revolutionary in performance and handling and styling, has a mid-engine that delivers sports car thrills and high mileage as well. We also have special awards for the high 3-game series, high single game, longest string of strikes in one game. We'll tell you what those are and who the leaders are later on. But now it's time, as it is every Sunday morning about now, to introduce Dennis Wright, who, as usual, is my sidekick, makes a prediction once in a while, and in fact every Sunday, and sometimes is right. But this morning we continue with 2 of the younger bowlers on the show, Dennis, and got to ask you about the line, because that's become sort of prevalent here the last few weeks on our show. The outside angle has been the one that a lot of bowlers have gone to. What are these 2 young men going to do today?
Watching them in practice, I guess that's what they're going to do. It looks like Ryan is a little bit further outside than Jeff. Last show, Jeff tried to play that inside angle with kind of mixed success, so I don't know if he'll go there. It looks like they're both going to start out with the outside angle.
Well, Ryan is more of an outside bowler traditionally, wouldn't you say?
I would think so, but nowadays I think if you're going to be good, you have to be able to play both angles. They're youngsters, but they've been around. They've been in all kinds of conditions, and they can move. I think either of them can play either angle, and they have to realize which one is paying off, and that's the one they're going to take.
Jeff, more typical of the present-day bowler, a little more of a cranker, would you say?
Not really. I think they're both crank them pretty good, and I think they're going to have to bowl better than they did in their first round. You know, we've been talking that the second round hasn't been scoring as well, but I looked at the scores. They're really not that bad. 590 has been the lowest winning total, and after that it's 640. So the scores have not been that bad in our second round.
Last week, Dennis Schechter, of course, that was 2 weeks ago. We got the pro show last week, but Dennis Schechter with a 660. So you might take that today?
Possibly. It'll take more than 600, I'm quite sure.
Okay, we'll find out. Game number 1 comes up following these messages. Line judge, and we'll introduce her right now. That is Celine Menzel. And Celine's a sophomore at UWM, where she's majoring in social welfare. If she's looking for a project for rehabilitation. How about our scorekeeper, George Vales, as usual, manning the computer. Has a pencil along with the computer just in case something goes wrong, I suppose. Then.
Yeah, backup system is the old pencil.
Not much difference in these 2 bowlers in the previous round.
No, 595, 604, very close, but I think they're going to have to go or bowl.
This Bowling with the Champs show is the round of 16 in 1983-84. I got to bowl against another Wisconsin Bowling Hall of Famer who many of you will know. That's Ryan Lever, who later joined up with the Linz Limited team that included Dale Traber and Lenny Borish and Gus Yanaris and Gary Dereshevsky. Definitely one of Wisconsin's greats, known for his accuracy and that hard straight shot that you'll see here. I think that's a gold angle he's throwing there, I'm pretty sure. And this match is notable for some spare problems that I had again, I think, and also tough lane condition for sure, and some tough pin carry. And a key shot I had here was a pocket 710 and a 10th frame. One of the many, 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 many pocket 710s I will leave if you watch all these Bowling with the Champs shows. That Bowling Center, Red Carpet Regency, which previously had been Red Carpet North before it was remodeled, and then is no longer around, but it was just known for its pocket 710s, especially for myself, for all the great bowling I did there and all the success I enjoyed. Boy, that was just a bugaboo, was those pocket 710s, especially on lane 27 and 28, which was the TV pair there. But still, some more great memories and a fun show to watch back in an era when 600 was a pretty good score at times, especially when the lanes were as tough as they were for this season of the Bowling of the Champs. So enjoy. And one more note, you will not see the next match in the round of 8 in the quarterfinals that I lose to Dennis Yechter. I don't know what happened to that tape. And when my buddy Chris Pounders converted the tapes over to DVRs, we didn't have that particular show. I did not live in Milwaukee and did not have access to the Bowling with the Champs because it was on the Channel 4, the NBC affiliate in Milwaukee, and I needed to rely on a friend to tape them with their VCR and get me the tape, or sometimes Channel 4 would do that as a special request. The year I won, they just sent me all the tapes in a bundle at the end of the season. But I do not have the loss to Dennis Yechter. I wish I did. Dennis is passed away a couple years ago. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the best of all time, and it was a thrill to bowl against him. He won the Champs 3 times, and he also won the 25th anniversary show. So he, without a doubt, was one of the all-time best in Wisconsin, and it was cool to bowl against him and even to lose. And I really wish I still had that, and I'm sorry I don't, for everyone to see it. But enjoy this show, and the next one to come will be from the 1984-85 season.
Corner pin. Mentioned Ryan's ball. Which one is Jeff using there? It's a black. That's not a plastic. Is that the?
That is the hammer. That's been the ball of the year so far.
So that's rubber finish, basically.
No, that's urethane.
Urethane. Okay.
And that seems to be the ball that most of the better bowlers are using. Some form of it. There's about 5 or 6 on the market.
Well, let's watch Ryan as he gets to the line.
It takes just a little baby step to start with, and then 4 pretty evenly spaced until, of course, that last step for most bowlers is the long one, well behind the foul line.
And that one we've seen before, too. The ball, if you don't crank it up just quite enough, it doesn't seem to finish. It doesn't come in at the pocket, and the danger is to leave a lot on the left side. And the dinner bucket has been prominent on the show this year. And has that.
Same type of hit, right?
Yeah.
The 2-8.
We've seen the 2-8, the railroad, and then, of course, Ryan has a 2-8, but he's got the
accompaniment.
He's got them all but the back one there. What's the 8 still there? No, that's the
5-pin. He
5
chopped
pin,
off,
yeah.
or chopped everything but the 5-pin. And really, both bowlers thought they were in the right spot, and it's so close between a strike and a 2-8 or a dinner bucket. Coming in, nice cover. So about an 18-pin lead. Jeff Richgels Madison, 21 years old.
Interesting about Jeff, a lot of our bowlers who do turn the ball quite a bit, we straighten it out, so to speak, on a spare conversion, but he seems to still throw the pretty good breaking ball at the spares as well.
Well, you would at a 2-8 in the railroad. You'd use a hook anyways, Hank, so we'll have to watch when he goes at a single pin. Oh, in the pocket again, can't carry. And the bowlers are a pretty rapid pace in game 1.
Yeah, they're going. Coming in from the outside, getting good mix and knocking down that 10-pin, the last one to go, and it's a strike for Jeff Richgels. He's got 106 in the 5th frame. Brian Lieber, as a result of the open in the 5th, has 88, so it's an early lead for the Madison bowler over the Waterford bowler.
Right at it, a lot of speed. That's the way to throw that 10-pin. Ryan with a couple nice 680 series last year. beat Fred Jaske opening round and eventually lost to Kevin Schwabe with another 680. So he's bowled well on our show. 604 this year. Regency Lanes beating Bob Kulashewicz of Nina Menasha.
And Ryan in that pocket high. I'm actually almost crossed over. Got a pin spinning, but he leaves the 3 on the right side.
Yep, 3, 6, 10 for a double. Jeff's looking for 2. May have it. From behind, huh?
Yep, on a big double. Jeff was telling me before we come on the air here this morning that yesterday, as we're taping this, Terry Coolibert, who was on our show, lost in the first round. That's like with only the 3 of them up there, was almost, you said the 6 go around the 10. Sometimes when they're all up there, the 6 went around the 10 with just the 3 of them up there.
There's Jeff's dad, and does a lot of coaching for the junior bowlers, Tri-City Lanes, and Ryan's dad, wasn't happy about that open, and of course his son trailing now by about 40 pins. Gonna bounce back? Yes.
And does with a strike, and Ryan's dad likes that one.
And Hank, we talked to Dennis Yechter after the match last week, and he says the right lane has a little bit of a hold spot. If you recall, we were always thinking you might come high with that outside angle. How about this one? 3 in a row.
Good mix for Jeff Richgels.
But the right lane, there we have the corner man for Jeff, and that would be, I'll get it. Not Terry Coolibert. That was his corner man last time.
No, and Terry isn't here today because he rolled that 300 game last night and was still celebrating, according to Jeff.
Double for Ryan.
Good time to get it when your opponent has 3 up there. You're in danger of falling really behind. But you were saying about the right lane.
The right lane does have just a bit of a hold spot. Sometimes you may think the ball is going to go high to the nose, and it kind of settles in there. And there are some lanes with that characteristic. We'll see if we catch it again. This one will be light. Oh, not light. It came on the end. 4 in a row working on 230.
That hold spot may be what's confusing you, see, because you thought Dennis wasn't going to get a strike a couple of times, and in that time you thought
that one really finished hard.
Or maybe it's because you were at the wedding last night.
That was part of it, yeah.
Well, Ryan Lever making a run here, too. Big
Coming on.
By both bowlers.
No 200 possible yet for Ryan, but a big one for Jeff Richgels.
And Jeff has a 4-bagger going. Trying to make it 5 here. It's coming in. Oh, a pocket 7-10. Ouch. Oh.
What a bad break. Absolutely bad break.
And what a time to get it. Was that his first ball in the 10th?
Yes, it was.
After a 4-bagger. And Ryan Lever coming on. He's got 4 in a row.
4 in a row. Chance to take 5 into the second game, but more important, not going to fall near as far behind as it might have looked.
I'll tell you, he threw that one hard right at it. There's nothing wrong with that. You throw it hard at the one of them and hope for a miracle that it'll fly off the kickback or something and knock down a 7. And Jeff did not like that turn of events.
Bad break. Instead of maybe a 250 game, you go to 220. There we see that hold spot.
Well, Jeff Richgels wins game number 1, but a much closer than we had thought it might be. 222?
222 to 204.
Okay. Looks like some high-scoring bowling going on here this morning, and we'll find out what happens in game number 2 in a few moments. Well, after one game, the difference is 18 pins in favor of Jeff Richgels over Ryan Lever. Here this morning on Bowling with the Champs, it looked like it was going to be quite a bit more. You go back, Dennis, to the 7th frame, you had Jeff with a double up in the 6th and 7th, and he bowled the 8th and got another one. And he got another one on the 9th. But then the 10th, what a turnaround.
And it might have been a strike. Could very easily have been a strike. That one, no, sir. A little bit slow.
Yeah, that one, so he had this, what we were referring to in the 10th frame first game, he had the 7-10. Now he's got the 4-7-10. This one, though, I think he deserved. The first one, no way.
That's right. But, of course, you have to forget it and not let it bother you for the next 4 or 5 frames, or it can cost you. So, a chance for Ryan.
I was certainly wrong in my speculation. He might continue to throw the hook at the spares when he just did it for that 2-8. Boy, he fired at that one.
At that 7-10, he really let her go.
And at this one here, the 4-7, he fired. Here's
Big
Ryan.
loss. Oh, wow.
Wow was right.
And he lofted that ball a lot more, and once it started to hook, it really took off to the head pin, considering that's the lane that just has a touch of a hold spot in the pocket.
4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Well, only one place you'd like to get that. You never want to get it, but if you do, it might as well be in the first, I guess.
The only place you'd want that is if we had a 5-pin no tap.
Well, we'll probably never have those.
No, they've had 8 and 9.
Leo's moved off to Arizona. We want to show a special young lady here, Dennis. You tell her. Well, she's right behind Pat. Tell us about
She was the leading pledge getter for Kids Bowling for Kids this year, and she bowled out of Tri-City Lanes. Of course, her name is Dawn Draskovich, and because of it, she's going to win a trip with her parents to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Told me they're going to go down this coming July.
All right. Well, our congratulations to Dawn Draskovich. That's a Variety Club annual event. Dennis has been the co-chairman along with Dale Lamont, used to be our producer-director on Bowling with the Champs of that Kids Bowling for Kids program for Variety Club, and it's really grown. How much?
Over $50,000 this year, Hank, so we're on the move.
All right. Before the match, we talked with the two bowlers about lane conditions and about the pressure as you advance in the tournament. Here's what Jeff said.
I find the lane conditions to be quite a bit more hooking from the last show I bowled on, and I hope this is an advantage because I think I can take more advantage of the larger hook than I had last time. And I think anytime you're looking at a prize fund like we've got here, especially with $5,000 first prize, the pressure gets exponentially greater every match you advance.
Well, he's had a problem here in game number 2, has Jeff Richgels, because he's had splits in the first and third frames. No, first and second.
First and second, but
right.
I don't believe he had 9 in the first.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he took the 4 and the 7 and left the 10.
Oh, that's right. That's Ryan that had the bad one. You're right.
Yep.
So we got 18, and we've got Ryan with a spare working and 8 in the first. Okay.
Well, you know, it's they really looked like they were getting wired there towards the end of that first game, with the exception of Jeff's 7-10 split. He had a 4-bagger, and Ryan finished with, what was it, a 5-bagger?
Came on with 5 in a row, and
now
both
they slowed down
splits.
starting the second game. Well, Ryan, before the match, had some comments to make, too, and as we watch him bowl, we'll hear what he said.
Basically, the lanes haven't changed too much over the first show. I'm going to try to play a little bit more outside, try to stay right around the 5th board. As far as the pressure goes, it's always the same. There's always a lot of pressure no matter what tournament you bowl in, and I'm just going to try to do my best.
Okay, and he overcorrected. He went for the big split in the first frame, now in the third, on that same lane, missed the head pin to the right. And that happens often. Right at it, good spare. So 25 to 18, Ryan has picked up 7 pins, and they've slowed down, and they've also slowed their delivery down just a little, and have to get their momentum going again. Incidentally, that's Brett Faulkner, Hank. You should remember his name. Excellent bowler.
And
how about it?
Ryan, and then not finishing it as it reaches the pocket area.
So you're right. Nothing resembling a strike so far. Jeff had 1 in the pocket, left a 4-pin.
The only good news that either of these bowlers can look at is that the opponent
hasn't done much.
Doing the same thing.
Because Ryan had 7 strikes the first game, Jeff 6. Pretty good production. As far as strikes go, well, Jeff had an excellent game. All deuces, 2-2-2, and 204 with 2 cherry chops for Ryan Lever, which are tough breaks because you're right in the area of making the spare.
Maybe we got a shot here for our first strike. No, 4-pin. First strike of the second game by either bowler is what I was referring to.
That's a pretty good ball. So now a 5-pin advantage for Ryan, and all of a sudden, no strikes, as Hank said. Jeff's had a 300 game, did it at the ripe old age of 16. And watching that one all the way.
We got a Milwaukeean who has the distinction of bowling the youngest sanctioned 300, under 12, I believe.
I think he was 11 years old, that's right.
11 years, 10 months, or 9 months, or somewhere.
Jeff loves to jog every morning. How about this? Okay, the first strike this game, and it came at an appropriate time. Got out of the beer frame.
5th frame. But it's more appropriate in the next game when Miller pays off on the 5th frame strikes.
For sure. A winner of this match will take home at least $1,000, and the loser a nice consolation of $600.
Isn't it 600 the loser takes home? I made that mistake a couple of weeks ago. I think you just made it too now.
Oh, the winner gets $1,000.
That's right.
Yeah, loser will take home 600.
Oh, okay. That's what you said?
That's what I said.
My ears aren't working right.
Well, the mic wasn't working right, but now your ears. Okay, and a pocket hit finally for Ryan Lever.
But leaves up the corner pin.
And a lot of speed right at it. Okay. Ryan out of Waterford. Likes basketball, golf, and girls.
Did he write that, or were you just suggesting that?
No. He's had both years on his resume sheet.
Okay.
He said not necessarily in that order.
I see. Where does bowling come in there?
Well, we assume he's a bowler. That's an addition. Other sports or interests.
Oh, another 10 pin, and that one should have been down.
So in counts alone, Jeff is going to catch up.
Now watch as the ball hits the pins. It's a classic story. We see this all too often. Watch the 6. There it goes.
Quickly. So again, the hard shot at the 10 pin. Be careful. All right. That ball has a lot of finish on the end. So no strikes yet for Ryan, but a couple in the pocket the last 2 shots, and Jeff shot at a double.
Yeah, if I threw that one at that 10 pin, it'd have been in the channel halfway down.
And myself. A little slow.
And that's what happens when you get a little slow. He had that same lead in the first frame. Also on that, no, it was on the other lane.
Yeah, on lane 1, or lane 27, I should say. But noticeably a change in speed in his delivery. That was much slower. So hard at it. Trying to bounce it off of the backboard.
But it's another open. We'll bring up to date in the scores, and they're much lower than game number 1 at this stage. 85 in the 6th frame for Jeff Richgels. And Ryan Lever has the lead in this game, but he's only got 80 in the 5th and a spare up in the 6th.
So about 15 pins. He trailed by 18. And look at that. Oh, what a break. Oh.
We got the domino effect there. That was the domino effect. It looked like a big washout, and watch what happens to the 1, 2, 4.
Now, how can you pick the 3 pin right out of those? Well, let's watch it. The ball will go right in between the 1 and the 6. But Hank said something from behind.
And he gets a spare, and a spare would have been much more difficult.
Oh, and how? Oh, a nice break, and maybe that'll perk things up here again.
Well, Ryan is in the 7th frame now. He's going to bowl it, and he's still looking for his first strike of this game, and he hit 7 in the first game.
A couple 10 pins, and again, right to the nose, and breaking them up. So, the lanes haven't changed that much in one game. But I would think the speed is a little less. There's Ryan's girlfriend, Karen, I believe her name is.
Not the one with the beard. No.
No.
Oh.
Pretty young lady in white.
I was kidding, folks. I was only kidding, folks. And a spare.
And a spare and a 13-pin lead for Ryan Lever, who works as manager of Wind Lake Beer and Liquor.
And his dad in the corner there is looking more settled down now. He's more nervous than Ryan when the match started. And in the first game, now when Ryan's having some problems, maybe he's more settled down and going to play the role of coach here. Well, maybe if he did, it'd work. There's his dad. All right, he likes that.
All right.
He's a junior bowling instructor, right?
Yeah, Tri-City Lanes. Hales Corners way. And Jeff, just 1 strike. Ryan, 1 strike. Bowler's got to get going here.
Well, he broke up another potential 7-10. The 7 was up there for a while. A 10 still is.
Some unusual pin action, to say the least.
We'll watch again and see what happened. The last pin to go, except for the 10, will be the 7.
And the 5 will probably just get the 7 pin. Yep, Ooh. It did. Second effort.
Into the channel and then came out and leaned against it, and it gives him a spare. But we've got only one strike in this game for Jeff Richgels, and he's finished 8 frames now. Ryan has one, but the advantage he has is it's in the 8th, and he is 14 pins ahead and then has the additional advantage of a strike up. That's in this game, but he was behind by
18.
So, very close in the
Very
match.
close.
Another washout. Well, this time a washout. The last time he broke up that washout in this left lane.
And a very bad count. 1, 2, 8, and a 10. And with an open, Ryan could take the lead. He could also double. Big turnaround frame. Actually, a big turnaround game. Both bowlers had the pocket pretty well wired the first game. How about it? Oh.
No, just got one of the 4, and that hurts on the pin count as well.
So, a low game coming for Jeff. Fortunately, as you said, opponent has not been stringing him, although he still has room for 200.
And he's got that strike up in the 8th, bowling the 9th. Big frame here for Ryan Lever. High.
And happy to get away with just a 6-pin. Part of the crowd here today.
You know, we were mentioning about Leo and his various tournaments he used to run. Somebody asked me, what do you hear from Leo? Well, I guess as this plays back, I'll be down seeing Leo in Arizona. But only thing I know is he got a speeding ticket on the way down.
He couldn't wait to
going
get there.
Going about 85 in that Cadillac, and the state trooper going through, I think it was Nebraska or somewhere, said, what are you doing? He's rushing to Arizona for his retirement, and the trooper suggested he didn't slow down. He wasn't going to live to enjoy his retirement. So, but he did make it down there, folks. Leo's alive and well.
31-pin lead. Ryan Lever trailed by 18, so leading actually in the match now by about a mark and a half. A mark being the equivalent of 10 pins, and talking about 10 pins, there you see one of them. The 10 pin.
Ringing 10 pin.
177 is the best Ryan could do. Jeff only 157 if he rides it out, but it might give him a little bit of incentive.
Now, this has surprised me. I thought with the strike production we saw towards the end of game number 1, we were going to have some big scores here this morning, and it just turned around with this second game.
Been a complete reversal.
Well, what does mean one thing, it's going to be a close match probably going into game number 3.
Here's the fill ball for Ryan. Now the 4.
So it gives him a 176.
And a total of 380.
And your prediction of 600 not being able to win might not come true, Mr. Wright.
Might not come true. I wasn't counting on these 2 games. Well, a strike right here. He now could go 157. It's a small game, but he'd take it right now. Because if he doesn't double, it's only 140, and that's a fine game. Not a fine game. I mean, he'll get fined in a lot of leagues for being under 150.
What should George's fine have been from the Peterson then for being under 100?
He owed us 1 month's pay. Double?
Yeah, that's a big one because, as Dennis said, you don't mind so much leaving a pin here in your 3rd ball in the 10th, but you like to get that 2nd strike in the 10th frame.
And if he fills it up, it's going to be a 1-pin game, Hank. A 1-pin match, I would say. 157 would give him 379 versus 380. Unofficially, I always have to check the computer. Going to make it?
Yep, surely is. So, Jeff Richgels, after struggling most of the game, finds the range in the 10th frame and strikes out in the 10th for a 157. Not what he was hoping for, but a lot better than it looked like it might be. And you say 1 pin, Mr. Wright?
1 pin.
In favor of?
In favor of Ryan Lever. 1 game to go.
Stick around, folks. We're going to have a dandy finish, and it's coming up in a few moments. After this, and I was wrong. We have 2 more matches in this round. We've got Randy Shoup against Dan Slack in our next match, and then completing the 2nd round will be Tom Larson against John Peterson. Here's Ryan Lever. Did a lot of practicing during the commercial break. Had a lot of advice. The 2 Traber brothers, Dale and Dave, were over talking with him.
Seemed like he moved a board or 2 to his left from my angle and lofted it pretty good. Had good speed, though. Important. There's Mr. Traber talking to Ryan Lieber rolling it from the outside.
And, he could be giving advice to a fellow he could meet eventually, because Dale Traber is one of the 5 that's already made the third round. And he's in the top of the draw. The winner of this match in the bottom of the draw. So if Ryan
Have to be in the finals.
Yeah, would be in the finals. Jeff Richgels.
Again, tough spare here for Jeff.
Got that dinner bucket.
All right.
He gets it. Strikes aren't always indication who's going to win the game. In the first game, Ryan had 7 and Jeff had 6, and Jeff won it. In the second game, Ryan only had 1.
Ryan only had 1. Jeff had 4, and Ryan won it.
So those pairs are important, folks.
Exactly. 1 open for Ryan. Lost a lot of pins and counts.
Better ball. No, it came up high at the end. I was going to say he almost had the 4-9. He does have it. I thought the 9 was going to fall down. So did Jeff.
Some strange happenings. It all started in the 10th frame of the first game. Jeff was on a roll.
Well, I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, if the ball doesn't finish at the pocket, I leave the dinner bucket or something. When it does finish now, I leave the 4-9. And misses it. Gave it a good try. Watched it all the way, but it's an open for Jeff Richgels, and the advantage now definitely in the corner of Ryan Lieber, who has a strike up in the first, and a double would give him a significant lead.
And he did move inside, and it's working.
Yeah, the 6-pin did a job on that 10. It didn't get it initially, but it came out of the channel and knocked it over.
He moved 3-4 boards to the left on both lanes. So far, worked to perfection, and picked up 20 pins.
And is only 10 strikes away from winning the Pontiac Fiero from Foster Pontiac.
Let's have it.
Not this week.
Woo.
Well, where have we seen that before?
The 4-6?
6? Oh, that was a 4-9. It's the 4-6. Well, we've seen that before, too, although not today.
Tough break, but a good break for Jeff, who hasn't had many good breaks. It looked like he let that 7-10 in the first frame get to him a little bit, and he's got to get his game back together. Only 10 pins
in the
down
10th frame of the first game. Yeah.
It was a terrible break, but there's not much you can do about it, folks. You got to fight back. Good speed.
All but the 4.
Pretty good hit again. 4-9. He'd been very close to that 1-3, as you say. The dinner bucket, not very far away from a strike. Although you do leave 4 pins, and it might sound a little contradictory, but that's the truth.
Well, we're here on a Sunday morning at Red Carpet Regency Lanes, the day after the biggest week of the year in Milwaukee bowling each year. The annual Miller Pro Tournament held down at Celebrity Lanes. Want to congratulate the winner. Do you remember who it was?
No, it's been a week. I can't remember that.
Only a day, wasn't it?
2 things go when you get older. Your memory, and I can't remember the second one.
We're kidding, folks. We taped before the Miller Tournament was held, so if we're taping this, unless you're psychic, we don't know who won it, but I'm sure it was another big week. And that was a big strike for Jeff, his first of game number 3.
He needs something. He needs a double to perk him up. Ryan started with a double. Now he has to come back inside. Working? No.
Similar to the strike in the second frame, but on that occasion, in the second frame, the 6-pin came out of the channel and tapped over the 10. That time it came out of the channel but did not tap it over.
And you can see when you move just a little bit to the left, on the end, the ball doesn't finish as hard as, of course, when you're using an outside angle. And that's what he's trying to do, because both bowlers had been going a little bit high in the pocket. Be careful.
Oh, he pulled that one.
Wow.
Yeah, and he missed it, and then now...
Big opening for Jeff if he can double, and of course Miller frame coming up, so a lot of good things could happen in the 5th.
5th frame, 3rd game means it's Miller time. Welcome to Miller time. Bowlers getting strikes in the 5th frame of the 3rd game. In the second round of our show this year, we received the dartboard from the good people at Miller. And no dartboard for Ryan.
And that miss might have got him a little unnerved for a moment. You hate to lose by missing a single pin. It happens often, but, there's really no excuse for that. The bowlers are too good to miss single pins.
Hey, Pete Weber missed a couple of 10 pins on the Pro Show yesterday. Yesterday, as we taped this, he was losing to Nelson Burton Jr., and he missed 2 10 pins. So
I'll be darned.
They do it at all levels. But, we've said before, it seems to be, and I don't want to pick on the younger bowlers, seems to be the younger bowlers that miss more spares than the older ones. We watch a guy like a Dennis Schechter on our show or a Nelson Burton on the Pro Tour. They seem to have spent more time practicing spares. There was a winner, and it was doubly important for Jeff because he won the dartboard and also has a double up there in the lead in the match.
Exactly. Lead in this game, which with a 1-pin difference gives him a lead in the match by about 10 pins. Depending on counts, he could add 10 to it right here. Good speed, last 2 balls.
We've got a classic example here. There's the 7.
Ooh, almost a 7-10 again.
Boy, he didn't want that again. But I was just going to say, we've got almost a classic example of how quickly things can change in bowling. Now, you had Ryan with a 1-pin lead. He goes up there and gets strikes in the first and second frame. Jeff has a spare in the first and opens in the second. And you figure, wow, Ryan's in control. Now it's turned in just 3 frames since then. It's turned completely around.
Yeah, it goes quick if you can get doubles. And, of course, your opponent opening magnifies it. So 95 in the 5th for Jeff, and Ryan with a full count would be 85, so 10-pin difference if Ryan strikes. 1 pin in the match. Going into this game.
He got it. All right, well, and there's the importance of making your spares. If he makes this 10-pin, that 10-pin in the 4th frame, he'd be leading in the match by 2, I guess, right?
Well, that would have given him, let's see, 76-96, 1-pin advantage. Depending on his count.
Yeah, instead he's behind, right?
No. Picket fence, and he didn't like that one at all. Hardly can blame him. Seemed to get away from him, a little bit of a timing problem. That was a important frame. Of course, they all are when it's a 1-pin difference. Well, actually 9 now. Jeff with a 9-pin lead in the match, 10 this game.
I don't know whether his dad's going to survive this match.
A bad break. He was in the right area to carry it. He didn't get the action, and another open frame. That's 2 of them. And he's actually had 4 misses totally with a couple splits thrown in, but he is not out of it yet.
Far from it. This has been a seesaw match this morning. And a corner pin lead for Jeff, who crossed over.
And a little bit slow again for Jeff Richgels, Madison.
Brett Falconer, his corner person.
Brett looking on, right?
Neither corner person looking all that confident.
Rightfully so. They've struggled since the first game where it looked like they both had a pretty good line and pretty good speed. And I know the lanes do change, and that's not only here, but pretty near every bowling lane. But I don't think that much without talking to the bowlers. Kind of surmising that they may tell us different.
I promise to ask them should we have enough time at the end.
Okay. Slow again. Almost paid the penalty. Not enough speed.
We were talking with Dennis Schechter after the match that he won over Darryl Meisel, and he said on the left lane, we said to him, hey, Dennis, looked like you got a little slow a couple of times on the left lane. He said on the left lane, he was trying to fit it, or it was a more delicate shot he felt in the left lane, and when he was trying to concentrate and fit it perhaps, that's when he unconsciously slowed down a bit.
Which can happen, that's right. You're not freewheeling, and of course, and when you do fit it, I think subconsciously you probably slow down. And Jeff showing the sign that maybe you almost choked. Oh, a break.
He kicked out that 5. Well,
that'll give him a shot, Hank.
Yeah, he's down by 19, but he's got a strike up in the 8th. The opponent has a spare. We'll watch it again and watch the 5-pin because it was the last one to go out of there.
Well, the head pin will do a lot of work. And we'll come charging back, fortunately for Ryan. Watch it.
You called it.
Got her.
Double would be big. No.
Oh, that left lane has been a problem for both bowlers since the first game. Almost needed that strike. Not entirely out of it, but it's getting tough.
And I'm going to open up Dennis Wright's pre-match prediction. He picked Jeff Richgels, and right now it's looking like he's got a winner.
Slump. Ooh, look out.
Oh, that one may have done it.
That did it, yep. And that's his third miss this game, and fourth open. And actually started this game with a double and was in command. 20 pins, 21 actually, plus one from the first two games.
Jeff Richgels knew he had one.
And, of course, Chuck Bakewell, editor of the Kegler, was nice enough to remind us that it certainly will not take 600 to win this match.
As Dennis had predicted as we opened the show. Well,
I bet he wouldn't have said that after game one.
That's true. Mixing ball, but there's still a pin up there. So Jeff Richgels is going to...
With a spare, he'll get 190 and about 570. I did not expect that, really. These bowlers are too good. Lanes are not easy, but as I said, let me read some of the scores that have been winners, Hank. Well, you got it here. 649, 596, 668, 641, and 660. That's not too bad.
Yeah. But Dale Traber's 687 in the first round remains the high three for the season so far. And Dan Slack, who will be on our show next week, 673, I believe has the second high three-game series. That's correct. But our winner this morning is going to be Jeff Richgels, so he's going to have to make the drive from Madison. I said it was foggy when we were taping here this morning. I said, do you have any trouble getting here in the fog? You came last night, which was a good decision, night before.
570 wins it, and he'll be happy to drive back. And who's he going to meet? Dennis Schechter.
Yep.
In the semis.
Well, you would think that 570 wouldn't beat Dennis Schechter, but
you never know.
We're not going to make any more predictions along those lines, huh? 159
159, that checks out with the scoreboard.
For Ryan Lever and a 192 for Jeff Richgels.
539, Hank. Not what he would have liked, and not up to his ability at all.
We'll be back to talk with the bowlers, give them some money in a few moments. But 571 to 539 makes Jeff Richgels a winner. And the manager here at Red Carpet Regency Lanes, Keith Grosskreutz, has some checks. Keith?
Yes, Hank. First of all, for Ryan's second game victory, I have a check for $50. Ryan, good luck in next year's qualifying. And for Jeff, $150 from Red Carpet Lanes. Congratulations on advancing. Thank you, Hank.
Thank you, Keith. Well, we'll start with Ryan over here. And Ryan, I got a check for $600. That's from the tournament itself. But you had things going there after the second game and strikes the first two frames of the third, and then something went wrong. What exactly went wrong?
I don't know. I just couldn't find it. If I get in, the ball would hang on me, and if I tried to play more down, the thing would hook on me. I just couldn't get the line.
Did the lanes change? Because it looked like in the start of the end of the first game, you had what? You finished with 4 or 5, and so did Jeff, except for that 7-10. And then we were expecting, continued 200 games. Did the lanes change?
Yeah, especially with the lights and stuff. They dry up the oil pretty quick, and then the shot just kind of goes away. So I don't know.
Ryan, you've been a consistent performer on this show. You were on it last year. What is this, your third year on it?
No, second year.
Second year. Okay, back-to-back years and qualifying going on now for Bowling with a Chance. We hope that you make it back next year.
Yeah, so do I. There you go.
Okay, Ryan Lever. For Jeff Richgels, no check yet, Jeff, from the show because we don't know how much you're going to win. But if I told you before the match 570 was going to win it, I don't think you'd have believed me.
I'd have laughed at you real loud. That won't win the next match, though. I'll guarantee that.
You got Dennis Schechter. He's a tough one.
I'll have to shoot 100 more than that to beat him, I would say.
Let me ask you the same question. You seemed to have it going there at the end of the first game, except for that 7-10. What went wrong? Did lanes change? Did you change? What happened?
Well, I threw that 7-10, and then I didn't take any shadow balls between the games while we were resting, and I just came out, and I guess it mentally affected me, and I just threw bad shots. I just didn't get the stroke back till the middle of that game, but I had a lot of pocket splits that weren't too bad of shots. 7-10, 4-9, 2-4, 7-10s. Those can be at least spares. I would have had a lot more, but I'm embarrassed by that score.
I would never be embarrassed as long as you win, and I'm sure you'll get over it by the time you bowl Dennis Schechter. Congratulations. We'll look for you in the next round.
Thank you.
All right, that's our show for today from Red Carpet Regency Lanes.
Bowling with the Champs has been brought to you in part by Foster Pontiac, South 27th and Loomis. Foster challenges anyone to beat their prices, anyone. And by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of day. Welcome to Miller Time. Now, this is Hank Stoddard, along with Dennis Wright, reminding you to tune us in again next Sunday morning at 10:30 for another match between two outstanding Wisconsin area bowlers on Channel 4's Bowling with the Champs.